Should start One Piece in 2023? Well, the first big reason is it's the best story I have ever read. And I gotta just point out, I have read well over 400 novels, along with reading multiple manga in the low dozens. I would say probably like 35 to 50, somewhere in that range. I've read that many different series. And it's hands down the best series I have ever read. And there's a wide variety of reasons why it's the best. For one thing, it is currently one of the longest running series, with right now, as of today, 1,072 issues. Another thing to point out, it is now the second best selling comic book series of all time, having just recently outsold Batman. It is only behind Superman by the tune of 2 billion or something, 2 billion sales, and it is gaining. With every week, there is a new chapter. Well, roughly 3 a month. The next thing, everything is connected. So every little detail, things you wouldn't think about, all of it is connected. And you get these reveals over time, but you have to put the time into it to really get all of it. But I don't want to spoil anything here because I know quite a few people haven't started this series. Um, with the latest story arc that had just recently wrapped up, Wano, it wound up, I think Wano ended around 1060. So there's quite a few story arcs through it. Everything is connecting back and forth, and even the arcs that seem like they don't matter all that much, such as Thriller Bark, which is kind of a mixed bag in some people's opinion. A lot of things in that arc are now being connected to throughout the entire series that make you go, "Holy crap! How much forethought was put into this?" Another big reason, second big reason would be that the emotional connection you're going to feel. Um, it has some incredibly high highs and some low lows. You might cry, even if you're a guy, at certain things that happen. um, there is heartbreak, unbelievable heartbreak in this series, but then there's also unbelievable joy and silliness. And um, I guess this could be a small minor spoiler, but it's nothing significant. In one of the arcs, there's a zombie island, and the main character Luffy pushes a zombie back underground. All right. It is one of the funniest scenes, and it comes before some real intense stuff, but it's incredible. Like I said, everything's connected. One of the complaints I often heard when I first started this series was that people didn't like the art style. They thought some of these characters looked really weird with their designs, and even that gets explained. So there are multiple different races in the world besides human. Giants, then you have the Oni, you have the fishmen, you have humans who have extra joints, like um, 3 joints in their arm instead of just like an elbow. They have extra elbows, or other things. But like everything gets more explained throughout the entire series. And then the mystery. Another huge thing is the mystery. Like nobody knows exactly what the One Piece is currently still, but a lot of us have theories on what it could be. And it, there's hints being dropped all over the place. There's other mysteries like the 100-year void, or the void century. Some translations call it the blank century, but if I gotta choose between calling it the void century and the blank century, void century sounds way cooler. Um, and another thing is it's got the single best punch in probably all of fiction. Um, just the emotions behind it. When you see the punch, it is absolutely incredible. I don't want to spoil when it happens or who it happens to or who throws it, but that punch is great. And it's one of the things you absolutely have to look forward to. Another great thing is all the characters. You know, everybody is just great. It's hard to just point out, but my favorite character in it is Usopp. He's been my favorite because I've always liked the goofy, quirky kind of characters. In Yu Yu Hakusho, my favorite character is Kuwabara. So that goes to say something. I'm choosing Kuwabara over Hiei and Kurama and Yusuke. Um, Another great thing I would say is that the fight scenes, especially when they really begin to pop off, they're great. Um, and it's got an amazing cast of heroes and villains besides just the Straw Hat crew. Another thing is that the music is incredible, especially later on when they started making newer tracks. Because originally they just had like a not not like a singular um, guy creating the musical tracks, but later on they did. Um, and the power ups and everything are pretty cool, um, especially Luffy as he goes along with his gum gum fruit or gumu gumu no mi. Um, and yeah, just a lot of creativity. The entire world's connected. Everything's moving at the same pace. So even if you don't see characters um, earlier on, you'll bump into them later, and you'll see how much they've changed or things that have developed, and just it feels like a lived in world. It isn't just like, oh, the heroes are moving from place to place and now we're not going to remember anything. Places that you haven't been to change and they update, and you get little snippets here and there of how things are developing across the entire world, and it is absolutely amazing. And I highly suggest starting it. And you know, Oda said that we're in the end game now, and his estimate's 6 to 7 years, and that sounds a bit crazy, but this series has been going on for almost 25 years now. And being down to the last 6 or 7 years, that's roughly about 250 to 300 chapters, give or take. Um, and we could be at the finale. Um, and depending on how fast you read or if you want to watch, but I personally suggest reading it and watching specific episodes because the anime is pretty slow because they take a single chapter and stretch it out over an entire episode, and it doesn't always work so great. But there are episodes that are fantastic, but there are episodes that are absolutely horrible. um, I started this series probably when I was like 15. I originally watched the Four Kids dub, which don't. And it made me drop off the show. And then one day, one of my friends told me, "Oh no, it gets really good, but you probably should, watch it in Japanese." So I watched the subbed version, and I just was like, "I don't want to watch Alabasta. I'm gonna skip to the next arc." And I watched Skypiea, and that hooked me. But what sold it was afterwards when you get to Water 7. And at that point, I became a massive fan of One Piece. Water 7 and Enies Lobby are the two arcs that many consider to be like the best, and they're fighting with Marineford, and some people might now say Wano. I just think that the emotional highs and lows in Water 7 and Enies Lobby were so intensely amazing in the development of the characters and everything. It hits you there. And I've been at that point. um that's kind of where I was week to week during Enies Lobby when that was airing. So I've been here for quite a while, and I can tell you it is the best series I've ever read, and I highly suggest checking it out. And it's 2023, and you've got plenty of time to get caught up before it gets over. So check it out. Like I said, I prefer reading it over watching it because not every episode's going to be the best. It especially started slowing down around the Marineford arc. And yeah, so check it out. I'm just going to keep repeating it. Check it out. Anyways, I'll see you next time.